So now we just want to talk through some timelines and expectations for the authors. And I'm going to just run through 2 slides just to clarify important timelines for the author of the judgments first, and then for the authors of the commentaries. The timeline for each of those is going to be slightly different because the people who are writing the commentaries or the summaries of the situations are going to need the judgments to look at before they can do that. So there's a bit of a staggering process that's going on. We've set a deadline for 2021 so that we maintain the momentum around the process, and also that we keep everyone on track. As you can imagine, managing 50 authors is going to be quite an ordeal and a challenge for us, but one that we take on very willingly and happily. But on the 10th of December, what we're looking for is a judgment outline from each of the authors of the judgments, and we will be providing you with a template for this. It'll only be like a 2-page document, but be asking you to start really thinking about how you're going to approach your judgment, what's feminist about it, and the sort of justification that you're going to have for how you're going to present that material. So we're not asking you at this point to actually write the judgment, but just to think really clearly and give us all a sense of how you're going to approach that judgment. Then by early February, we will be giving you feedback on that and pointing out any issues that we think there might be. It will also allow us to work out if we've got any overlaps in a situation or something that needs to be clarified. We will be bringing the commentary writers in at this point so that they can get an understanding right from the beginning of the process of the sorts of decisions that they will be needing to comment on. So we'll talk to the commentary writers about that. In February 2022, we'll be holding another workshop, which is going to be looking at the methodology itself around the judicial writing process. And here we'll be engaging with judges. We're hoping to engage some former ICC judges themselves, but other judges who take a feminist bent to give us some further guidelines of how we might approach writing the judgments. Then you have from the end of February till mid-May to actually be writing those decisions. And that's a very hard deadline for us because we are going to need to be able to give you feedback by August to get a final submission from you by the 30th of September 2022. So these are tight deadlines and they're hard deadlines, and we're asking all of you who are part of our extensive team now, if these are deadlines that you don't think you're able to meet, to let us know. And it's better for you to drop out now than for you to be just pushing up against it the whole way through and potentially holding up the whole volume. For our grant, and this is a driver for us, we need a 2023 publication, which is one of the reasons we're going to be very strict with these deadlines. And that will mean we'll need to get something to the publisher, which will hopefully be CUP, as Rose noted, by very early 2023. At the latest. So we're hoping to submit the manuscript by December 2022, but at the worst case, it'll be January 2023 to get a 2023 publication. So for those who are authoring the commentaries, we just have a look at that slide for the reflections, and for those who are writing the introductory or concluding chapters, we have a slightly revised set of deadlines. We'll be involving, as I said, those authors in reading the early judgments. They are also encouraged to join us with the judicial writing workshops because it will give them a sense of what they should be looking for in making their reflections. And we'll be providing them with access to your fully worked up judgments by the 20th of May, after we've had a little bit of time to have a look at them. And then 30th of December 2022, the reflections and the other chapters are due. So those authors will have from May through to September to really engage with and reflect on the judgments that have been presented in each situation. We'll be providing editorial comments back on those by the 30th of October. So we're giving ourselves a month's turnaround for a final submission of the 30th of November. So again, that's pretty tight for the authors. It's very tight for the editors, but it's something that we've all committed ourselves to for next year. So hopefully that will all work for you. And as I said, if you already foresee problems with that, please let us know at this early stage so we can either try and work with you around that or be able to fill your slot if you feel like you're not able to participate given those tight deadlines. Please do continue to send us through any questions that you might have after today's session, and then we'll also be sending you more detailed specifications of how to address your particular contributions. We'll also be setting up chat groups amongst people within each situation. So what we really want to do is try and develop that international collaboration, and one of the best ways to do it, we think, are in smaller teams within each of those situations, and we'll be doing that quite soon. We do have a website established, and we're hoping to develop the functionality of that website so that we can be one, putting material up there that's relevant, but also using that perhaps as a way to set up those teams and different capacities so that you're able to engage really easily with each other within those situations, but then also across the whole team, which, as we've already said, is quite a large one. Hand over to you, Kcasey.
Thank you, Louise. I think Japa had some great questions while the session was unfolding, and one of those questions was about how previous projects have engaged with the judiciary and the extent to which judicial officers have responded to the projects. And that is the answer to that question is it really depends on the jurisdiction. So, for example, in the United Kingdom, there was an enormously positive response from Lady Hale, a known supporter of the feminist judgment methodology, although earlier in her career had been a bit more critical of some of those arguments about women and difference. I had an interesting experience talking to Dr. Catherine O'Rourke, who said that the Northern Irish project coincided with the appointment of the first women judges to the most senior Irish court. And even though those women didn't necessarily describe themselves as feminist judges, they were enormously supportive of the project and really got behind it as an important illustration of having women in positions of authority. Whereas in Australia, in our most senior courts, there has certainly been a lot of reluctance around the idea that gender might shape judging, but that's to put it lightly. But there has nonetheless been buy-in from judicial officers at various other places in the judicial hierarchy, and it is certainly our intention wherever possible to engage with judicial officers in a positive way, because that's part of the benefit of these projects is speaking to people who are working in legal institutions. I hope that helps in answering that question.
And Japa, you know better than anyone that the benches at the ICC have been very mixed in terms of their attention and acceptance of sort of a gender analysis. We've seen some women be quite hostile to that. We've seen some big judges be quite open to it. So what we're keen to do is try and touch base with those who we think might be supportive. And also, if anyone has any good links in with any of those judges from former international criminal law benches, you know, whether it's the ICTY or the ECCC or the ICC itself, we'd be really keen to hear from you and also to make contact through them. So we do hope in that 2022 workshop that we will at least have pre-records, if not some participation from those judges. It was always our intention to be doing this in person and to bring the team together in the Hague and to try and bring some ICC judges together. So hopefully we can still do that and do it remotely so we get that input from those who have actually sat on the bench. Okay, was there anything else, Rose or Kcasey?
In my opinion, it's been fantastic to talk to everyone. Just emphasise that this is the beginning of a project, so we hope to, keep having these conversations. This is
absolutely
a chance to introduce. And just on a personal note, I am so excited to be working with all of you. It's a great project. It's a big responsibility to make sure that we do deliver for all of you. And it's something that I really, really can't wait to be part of this team. And by this team, I don't just mean Louise, Kcasey and Suzanne, but I mean all of us as one big, giant, global, unwieldy and effective team. So thank you.
Yes, yeah.
I would second all of that and say I'm just really humbled and thrilled to be part of this project, and it's so wonderful to meet you all, and I look forward to continuing the collaboration.
Suzanne, anything you want to add?
No, thank you. It's been fantastic. And anything you want to pass on or ask, please feel very comfortable to email.
Thank you again to everyone for making time, whatever time zone you're in. And what a fantastic way it was to start to see old friendly faces and to meet new people and to see people that I've read your work and haven't had the opportunity to see in person. And this is as close as we can get. So thank you so much for agreeing to be involved. We're really excited, as I hope you can see, and we hope to make it as painless as possible for the authors and make sure that we get you timely information and detailed information so you can get on and write your fabulous pieces to make this a really standout book. I think it has the potential to really make a difference in the world, we think, which is really important and a very exciting endeavour.